I will be solving example number 5 on page 82. This is a Poisson distribution question. In this question, the main variable of interest is the number of admissions happening per week, and we call it variable x. The mean rate for variable x is given to us, which is 2.6. The question is asking us to work out 4 different kind of probabilities, and we will solve it step by step. To solve this question, I need my Poisson distribution tables. These tables are given to me in the book, and they're also given to me on page number 4 of our formula sheet. I will define the variable, so I will write it x equals the number of admissions happening in 1 week. We have to make sure that we specify the time clearly when we're writing the definition of variable x. We write down the notation. The notation will look like this, where we are saying that x follows a Poisson distribution with mean 2.6. On page number 15 and page number 16, I will find out the mean rate 2.6. On page 16, as you can see over here, this is page number 16 that you see in this slide. I have highlighted the mean rate, and also this probability given to me on top is the probability of less than equal to 3. This is the probability of less than equal to 4, 5, 6, and so on. I just want to repeat once again that all these blank spaces mean that the probability is going to be 1. Once this is done, I've highlighted my mean rate that I am interested in. I can then move on to solving the question. Over here, we have the mean rate given to us and the variable also given to us. The part A is saying work out the probability of exactly 4 admissions happening in 1 week. I have to write down this sentence into mathematical notation. It is probability of x equals 4. This is my notation. I will look at this notation and decide by looking at these rules over here that which one should I be applying. I will be applying this rule over here, and this rule says that write down x over here as it is and write one number less than x over here as a separate probability. I have done this over here for my question, which is probability of x less than equal to 4 and probability of x less than equal to 3. Once I have applied the rule, now I can see this in the table and I can see this in the table for mean rate 2.6. So once again, I'm going to take out the table values and copy them down over here, subtract them, and get my answer. The next question is saying at most 5 admissions in 1 week. The first thing is that I have to write down at most 5 in mathematical notation. Once this is done, this is how we write at most. Once this is done, I will check the value of 5 in the table for mean rate 2.6. Now the reason why I'm looking at this probability directly in the table is that it is this first rule. This first rule says whenever you have less than equal to sign, just see it directly in the table. No need to do any transformation. I will see the value of 5 in mean rate 2.6 and it will be this number over here. Then we have at least 7 admissions in a fortnight. Fortnight means 2 weeks. Now I have to keep in mind that the time is changing over here. The mean rate that was given to us in the question was for 1 week. And now the question is talking about admissions happening in a fortnight. So I will have to introduce a new variable which is the number of admissions happening in 2 weeks. I will call it y. You can use any letter you like. I have to write down the notation. The notation is important and it will hold marks. Now I will multiply 2.6 by 2 because 2.6 was mean rate for 1 week. I will multiply it by 2 if now the question is asking for 2 weeks. And this will give me 5.2, which I've mentioned over here. Now I have to write down the mathematical notation for at least 7 admissions in a fortnight. The mathematical notation is this one. I will see which rule I should be applying. I will be applying this rule over here, and this rule tells me that I have to write down 1 and write down the separate probability of less than equal to 6. Once I've applied the rule, I will see this value in the table because I'm allowed to use the table whenever I have less than or equal to sign. I'll see the value of 6 in the table, but this time I have to be careful because I have to use mean rate 5.2. I won't use 2.6. I will be using 5.2 as my mean rate in the formula table. I will get this as my answer after taking this number away from 1. This question, part D, is asking me to work out the probability between 10 and 15. And now I have 5 weeks. For 5 weeks, I would have to introduce a new variable. I can use any letter. And now the mean rate, which was 2.6, will be multiplied by 5. And when I multiply it by 5, I get 13. So I'll write it over here just to make it clear. 2.6 was the original 1 week mean. Times it by 5 on your calculator and it will give you 13. And that is how I got this 13 over here. Then I will write down the mathematical notation for this question. It's this one. I have to make sure that I use z variable and not x or y. Then I will see which rule I should be applying. I will be applying this last rule over here, which tells me to write down the bigger number like this as a separate probability and write one number smaller than the smaller one. So I've done that. Now I need to see the value of 15 and 9 in my Poisson distribution table, but for the mean rate 13. So I get these as my numbers over here. I'll just make it clear. There you go. And then we have our final answer, which is 0.5976, and that's our final answer. I hope you understood this, and feel free to ask any questions. You can email me and I will be answering all these questions. I really hope that you understand this topic because in the next session I will be teaching a new topic, and it is really essential that you understand this in order to understand the next topics as well.